Hello everyone! Today I went to a Dreamland themed event and I brought nightmares with me. My costume is a Miss Sleep Paralysis Demon, runner-up. The first place is obviously always taken by one of the Winchesters because they are the ones demons have nightmares about. Now, if you're new here, hi! My name is Anya and I make costumes and cosplay and weird stuff, and I have cats! Well, I have one cat. This cat. Ow! There's so much fucking. And she will cry if you don't like and subscribe. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the wings and feather clothing piece. I took this old leather coat. Nami, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. I took this old leather coat. I thought the leather was fake actually, but now it's just in such a bad state. No, I've been actually hoarding it for a few years and I decided today is the day we upcycle this bad boy. I already have cut off the sleeves for another project, so I'm just gonna put it out of its misery. No. We have suffered for long enough. First I cut off the sleeves and from the waist down. Then I shaped it a little bit. You can see the lines I drew to where I will be cutting. And then I traced the back to make it more sturdy for the wings. I cut it out of some thicker fabric and a very hard interfacing. Kat decided to help me out with this. Yeah, very helpful. Very helpful indeed. I of course just took the lining from the coat to upcycle it as much as I possibly can. I took the sleeves and I upcycled those into the wings. I, as per usual, just started cutting and hope for the best. I reinforced it with some cotton fabric and I also fluffy interfacing, that's a technical term, don't look it up, to put some more dimension on the wings. I then sewed it all down and together, and that is a part of the upper wing, and then we traced the rest of the wing. I cut that out of thicker cotton and leather. I glued the fabric pieces together and then I had sewed the parts together. Sadly, there was no way to do it on the machine with its thickness, but you know, right now I'm not worrying about this looking pretty, I just wanted to have shape and be sturdy. I also wanted to make the part of the shoulder a little bit longer, so I just eyeballed this little pattern piece, cut it from the piece of leftover fabric and sewed it on. Nami wanted to help immediately with sewing of the wings, she was no help at all. I just went around and around head stitching the wings. I went all the way through all the layers with the hard interfacing as well, just to keep the wings on nicely and so they would not collapse under their weight. They would collapse under weight. Who wrote this script? So here is what we have so far. I sewed all of this on before putting the lining in. As I said, doesn't matter what it looks like, you won't be able to see it anyways. It was super easy to make, but they didn't stop me from procrastinating for like 2 weeks. So sewing in the lining, I sewed around it on the sewing machine, but the armholes I again just hand sewn. And after that, we finally go to the more fun part of this project. Almost. First I got to make like a billion feathers. So I cut them out one by one. First the basic shape, then I airbrushed the end so the inside wouldn't pick out as much since it's a very light grey. After airbrushing it, I let them incubate under the cat. Then I gave them all a little haircuts and sewed them down the middle for the feathery effect. Repeat that 1 million times. Now we are ready for the fun part. I will be gluing the leather feathers I made as well as some fake ones I bought. I am really sorry if anyone needs black feathers ever again, cause I bought them all. I started on the edge and worked my way around, just gluing them as I went organically. I also went on the wings from the bottom up, and I also And I also interchange, oh my god, who wrote this? It's typed out and I can't read it. And I also interchanged with the feathers as I saw fit. I am also wearing a mask for this part since the glue smells really bad and was making me a little dizzy since at this point I am literally running on caffeine and glue fumes. Nothing else. Little progress I made. I waited for the glue to dry and for my apartment to air out before continuing. Then I just kept on doing the same thing, just building it up layer after layer. And here we're having a training montage. Here is the finished piece, perfect for covering up your distracting shoulders. This will draw much less attention and boys will leave you alone. I am incredibly satisfied with this, it turned out just as I imagined it would. I fucking love it. Up next we're gonna deal with everything that is happening on my head. There is quite a lot to unpack here, so I'm just gonna start with the tiara. I started with circles made from a thick wire. I made 2 of those and connected them by wrapping a thin wire around both of them very tightly. Here it is done, next to some cat paws for scale. Oh my god, so cute. Subscribe to my OnlyFans, where I only post naked cat paws. I then started to make some shapes with the white wire again. I would also like to point out that I saw like half of a tutorial on how to make this once. I have no actual idea what I'm doing. Next up, I am doing the classic crown shape again with the white wire and connecting everything by wrapping a thin wire around. Then I started to wrap around the beads so the tiara would have more texture. I know it looks really bad right now, but we will just paint it black and it will look great. I then made more details with twisting the wire because, as I mentioned, no idea what I'm doing or with any plans for either this tiara nor my future. I then added some spikes to gut it up a bit. I tried putting some bigger beads on the top, but they really weren't sticking on. So at one point I said, nah, good enough. I kicked my cat off the painting station and I painted the whole thing black. This also took 1 million layers to cover. Once I was happy with the coverage, I varnished it and glued some green stones on tops. And then I wrapped the bottom of the tiara with a black ribbon. That's to cover all the loose wires I might have missed, since this will be on the hair, so they wouldn't get so tangled up. And I also will glue more feathers, so this looks like a better surface for the gluing actually. I then glued on the feathers once again, not in focus. I added the feathers everywhere in hopes they will distract from some oopsies that we were having here. The tiara was done once I said that is good enough, and it's like 3 days before they went. So moving on to the horns. So I'm gonna make the horns as fast as possible because, as I mentioned, this event is on Saturday and today is Wednesday. I eyeballed the pattern and then I cut it out of EVA foam. I cut the edges on the 45-degree angle. I originally wanted to have just the 2 pattern pieces, but I really like the shape this is making right now. So I also cut out the triangle. I again cut all the edges on 45-degree angle and glued them together with some contact glue. I then fixed the poorly glued edges and waited overnight for it to dry. The weather was very much not motivating me, but it's Thursday and the show must go on. I wanted to have a little bit of details on the horn, so I made it the easiest possible way I could. I took some hot glue gun and drew details on it. I also made some texture details with the pens. After that I went ahead and put the thin layer of this glue everywhere on the horn. When that has dried, I went ahead and slapped a thick layer of paint on it. I did this with a brush, again for more texture, but again out of frame. However, I was doing this in like 5 a.m. before going to work. So yeah, I know that's a good excuse, right? How can I tell? It was before work. I am wearing actual pants. After a few coats of paint, I glued some felt on the bottom so I will be able to sew them on the wig. And then I also glued some feathers on it for some more spoops. Then I had to take care of the wig. After many months and crusty wig looks, I finally washed it, but I don't quite know why. It looks like she doesn't know what a conditioner is. I made the hair into a messy bun because messy is the only word in my vocabulary. Here I also already sewn the tiara on and the cat helped. I guess. Here is a short cat intermission since we are all very tired and we need a little break. We can see the distribution of work on this show is, well, a little out of balance if you ask me. After that, I sewed on the horse and the wig was good to go. Next, I made the pageant thingy. I don't know what it's called, but it's this. But it's from hell. I googled for a gothic creepy font and copied it since I have terrible writing skills, and I put a bit more details on it to make it fancier. I drew it on a Satan. I drew it on satin fabric to get that pageanty shiny look. I then made some scruffy edges to get that I've been through hell look. I also made a few holes all around the thing. Here is how it looks like. I am quite happy with it since I can only write in hieroglyphs that even I can't fucking read. The only thing with this is the edges are falling apart and I didn't want to sew like the two sides. So I burned off all the excess thread. I don't like to do this, especially on this plastic fabric. Now the whole apartment stank like a bitch after. After finishing the edges, I did a paint job. I just watered down some brown acrylics and splashed it around. So now, I've got the tiara, I've got the pageanty thing, and now all I have left to do is the flowers. I got some cheap discounted flowers and I took them apart and I airbrushed the stems and leaves green and the flowers black. I then put it all back together and made an arrangement with some more discounted whatever this feathery thing is. I taped it all together and then I wrapped it in some leftover fabric from the Toxic Magical Girl. And that's it for the flowers. Then just finish the look with makeup. As I mention every time, I don't know how to do makeup, so here is the best I can do. I had some white and black face paint from a few years ago, so I thought it's a good time to use those again. Here are some videos and or pictures. I don't know, I haven't edited this yet. Again, hoping for the best. That's the whole look. I love this look. I personally think this one is one of my best ones. Like the feathers and the wings are just amazing. I just love it. I will be wearing this again. No, to go to grocery store or some shit. The event was great. Everyone had amazing costumes. I did enter the contest as usual, but I did not place in the top 3, unfortunately. But as I said, everyone looked amazing and we had the most costume entries so far and the whole event was so fun. So this is gonna be it for this video. And I am actually already looking forward to the next themed event. I really love those. It's so much fun to make the outfits every single time. The themes are always very nice and interesting, and I have just too many ideas than time and resources to make. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Why is there hair everywhere?